What's up, y'all? I hope everybody's doing well. We are here for our weekly energy oracle forecast. We're going to take a look at the week ahead to see what the spiritual energy is going to be like, what kind of spiritual weather we're going to be living in, what are going to be like the themes and influences crowning us for the week. Ooh, jumpies. Oh my God, beginning and love. So this is the week following all of the high holidays where we got our, we cleaned our slate, we got our new soul, we've got the turbocharged fuel for the year to bring in all kinds of blessings and opportunities and growth and change and elevation. And so it's like now we're kind of like, all right, this is the start. Over the next couple of weeks, we have a moment to sort of reflect and catch our breath. I know, it's like, are we ever not reflecting? Catch our breath before eclipse season starts. Eclipse season is famous for bringing about major changes in your life. So if there are things that are ready to leave your life and you're not willing to let go, eclipse season will rip that out of your dead, lifeless fingers. If there's, an opportunity that's hovering you and you are, prepared and aligned, like that is a prime time for opportunities and breakthroughs as well. So we're sort of in this, back in the day when Opryland was a theme park, there used to be this ride called Chaos. And it was sort of like Space Mountain. And it was very futuristic. And it gave you this the mood of the ride when you were waiting in line. You had to wait. It was like a ride that took place inside of a building. It was like a roller coaster that was in a dark building. And you were going through these dark tunnels and stuff. And so it was supposed to be all futuristic, like you're escaping, I don't know, going into another time or something, like time travel. But the technology broke, so it was just instead of having these projectors everywhere to show the time travel and the sci-fi and the tech, it was just this dark room that you were in a roller coaster going through. But the themes while you were waiting in line, it was this sort of evacuation, kind of mood, everything was heightened. And there was this voice that would say, please move quickly through the station. Your time is running out. And that's kind of what I feel like right now. It's please move quickly through the station. Your time is running out. We're getting ready to get on this train or this cart or this rocket that's going to take us on to into this new life and this new storyline. And right now is not a time that you want to be left behind, still spinning your wheels, because, life is moving in a new direction. And so if you stay sort of in the status quo, it's going to become very uncomfortable. And life may start sending you a lot of challenges to push you into your growth edge, into your potential. But overall, I think that we're all here and we're all volunteering and we're all trying our best. So this is a very fortuitous sign that beginnings are good. We might have a very beautiful year ahead of us, but we're beginning this new journey. And I would say that we're at the beginning of the beginning of the beginning. All year has felt like a beginning. The whole year has felt like the credits in the new season of the new series. So we're in the episode is starting, we're in the credits. But it's over the next few weeks, things are going to change. They're going to start shifting. And maybe even it might seem quiet for the next couple of weeks and then suddenly change comes. So just be prepared. But whatever's happening, it's trying to set us up for a new beginning full of fertility and creativity and fulfillment and blessing and new growth and new life. And a new life that's the root of it is love, right? And not scarcity, not fear, not ego-based, but real truth and love and a life that's authentic to us and a life that we're in love with, right? I mean, it's just, it's so awful when you kind of hit this like rut in life, you know? And I mean, sometimes like intense pain is almost easier than going through a slog of like blasé that you feel like will never end. Like when you're in great pain over something and it's because of a specific thing, it's like there's something about that rawness and that electricity that gives you this sort of like edge that motivates you to put it into something, into determination. And then you get like hopeful that you're going to overcome this horrible like, you know, cloud. But when you're just in a rut, you just slowly like lose your taste for pleasure. The things that used to light you up, it's like you're just like, whatever. And that's what that's the worst, right? When you're just in this like flat plateau, blasé, just sort of like that low level depression. It's so hard to shake yourself out of that and it's almost like you need like a catalyst. So right now we are kind of shaking that off, or we have the opportunity to, and we're going into a new beginning, and we're going into a direction that's going to fill us with love and fill us with excitement and hope and doing things that we love and living a life that we're in love with, right? And we can make our choices based on that. Like the Lover's card in the tarot deck, it talks about making choices. It's not always just about lovers. It's sort of about like this fork in the road, or a Y, when the road splits off into a Y and you have to go right or left. It's like that card talks about a big decision, big choices, but the choices that should be made from the heart, from the bottom of your heart, from the purest place of your heart. And, you know, being soul led and soul guided, not just, you know, making choices willy nilly. So right now, as we have this chance for this life of a new beginning, make sure that the seed level of what you are putting your hand to, the consciousness that you're in as you build this new life, is a consciousness of love, right? You know, if you're going into, like, for instance, for me, we've talked about this a little bit on some episodes. But, you know, I was going through some hard stuff at certain points in the summer, and, you know, I just was getting tired, and I just was getting like feeling like nothing was ever changing. I wasn't making any progress, like no matter how hard I tried, you know, especially with this channel. It's like I've been doing this for 2 years, and it's taken forever to grow it, just follower by follower, one at a time. Thank you for all 300 and I think 38 of you that are here. I'm so grateful that you're here. He's 328. But yeah, I was starting to get just short and snippy, and I didn't realize that like my anger was building in a way that was creating division, and it was becoming destructive, right? And so there was an incident that allowed me to really see with open eyes, like, oh my gosh, I wasn't as aware of myself as I thought. Like, oh, I'm glad this was brought to my attention. And I was like, I don't want to be this angry person, and I certainly don't want to cause like bad vibrations, bad energy, or be divisive or cause separation, you know, where I'm going in my workplace, like cause people to feel like, you know, like spreading anger, spreading like bad vibes, spreading like a bad mood or whatever. I did not want to be that. And so I've been making it a practice ever since then. I mean, I tried to do that before, but you know, you slip into autopilot, right? Sometimes when we're driving through life down the highway of life, it's like we go into these trances, and you know, we start getting tunnel vision, and before we know it, we're like, whoa, how long have I been driving? Like, and you don't realize like how you're presenting. So now I feel like I try to be very conscious of the energy that I bring with me and the consciousness that I bring with me. And that I want to always bring a spirit of unity and sharing. Oh, awesome. Pain. pain. Wonderful. Can't wait. So with this new beginnings and, building upon love, it's going to come with growing pains, because making choices from the heart means making choices. And when you make a choice, it means that you say yes to one thing and you can't say yes to both things. Like, you have to choose one or the other. And so sometimes it hurts having to pass up on, something, or, if you're not the choice, if you're not the pick, or, if a job goes with another person, or, a person that you like someone else, that creates pain. But sometimes it's difficult, even when we're saying no to ourselves, to something that, we don't want to say no to, and that hurts too. But right now, it's important that we prioritize the life that we want to, this new beginning, this new start, and that we're making choices that are loving to ourselves and in the highest good of for ourselves and others. But I think that one of the themes that was coming up over the weekend was reminding us, or pointing out, that we need to rise above the tendency to overgive, or to put everyone else's needs first, and, always be like enmeshed with other people and overly empathic, where we have weak boundaries, right? So we are strengthening our boundaries, and that can cause discomfort. And, too, as we're leaving our old self behind, and old patterns and old habits and old, dynamics, that can be sad. We need to mourn that. Like, there's parts of us that we're moving on from, and they need to be acknowledged, and it could cause some sadness. So yes, there may be some pain this week, but don't be afraid of it. Try to observe what it's showing you and what it's telling you, because it's trying to give you an urgent message so that you can be rid of the root cause of whatever is creating the pain before eclipse season comes along. So you can start making those changes on your own. You won't have some jolting experience do it for you. And it'll be far less painful that way. But yeah, so that you're not dragging old baggage into the new timeline, because we want to write these new stories. Like, one of the ways that we've been describing, like, this new life, this new timeline, this new self, where we can kind of up level into this higher version of ourself that we kind of always dreamed of. It's as if Life, the series, was canceled, and guess what? All of a sudden, like, the next day, it was renewed. We picked it back up. And it's the same actors, same characters. Some have come and gone from the plot, but for the most part, it looks pretty much the same. But all of the canon from the previous series that the writers had to stick to does not apply anymore. So when writers are writing a series, they have to reference the Bible of that series, and they have to, stick with the characters, the dynamics. This is how these characters play together. This is their usual dynamic, and we've got to stick with this. And these are the motivations of this character. This is their whole backstory, and blah, 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 blah. And this is the baggage that comes with them, and this motivates their choices. It's like all of that stuff that the writers use to determine the characters in their story. It's like all that stuff got thrown out. And so we have this new opportunity to write a new story that doesn't have to be based on those old narratives anymore, which is very exciting, but also intimidating, right? And uncomfortable. Because have you ever bought like a pair of new shoes, like a really nice leather pair of boots, like old school style? They're very hard to break in. It takes a while. New leather is hard, and it's crunchy, and it doesn't, like, it rubs up against your feet, and it takes a while to break it in so that it molds to your own contours. And so, yes, if things are uncomfortable right now, uncertain, if you're unsure, or things just aren't feeling natural, it's okay. These are just growing pains, right? So don't be afraid. All right, what else do we need to know for the week? Let's see something there. Oh, sorrow. So yeah, something is going to sadden us this week, or old pain may be coming up in order to like let it pass, and just allow that. Right? It's hard to accept change. It's hard to accept when we don't get what we want or we don't get what we think we want. It's hard to move past seasons in our life that are over, but that is inevitable. And the thing is that we can't avoid pain in life, but we can avoid suffering. And so when we're met with pain, when we resist it and we can't accept it, it's like, I can't accept this situation. I won't accept it. Or keep fighting it. It's like, that's what causes suffering, because life sometimes is like, I don't care how much you fight this. This is not going to go the way that you're trying to make it go. And so it's like when my best friend Trace died in an accident like several years ago. It was so tragic and untimely. And it was so hard for his family and friends to accept his death. He was a bright, shining light, this unique, offbeat person who was irreplaceable. And he was in an accident involving a drunk driver or someone on substances. But it was never certain whether he was in the Jeep or whether the Jeep hit him as he was walking home from the bus stop. And so many people in the family and in his friend group, they were obsessed over finding out the truth of what happened. Someone has to pay for this. You know, what was the story? Was the guy driving? Did he hit him? Like, and it was all about like this obsession over knowing what exactly happened so that the person could get punished enough. And to me, I watched them suffer so much more because of that whole fight, that they couldn't accept the circumstances and they couldn't accept, they were fighting against the truth of what had happened. And one of the gifts that I received during that experience was that of radical acceptance. That I was met with a situation that no matter what, nothing was going to change the fact that my best friend was dead. That person was irreplaceable. And he was never coming back. And it didn't matter how he died. It didn't matter whose fault it was. I knew that person was devastated, that person, a part of them was dead too, that they'd never be the same. So why perpetuate more suffering? It's not going to change anything. It's not going to bring him back. And so I made it a choice to just accept the situation, accept it radically. There was nothing I could do. It was so final. Like, I was completely futile. And I think that prevented me from greater suffering, from deeper suffering, from that ghost that just haunts and haunts, right? I just wasn't gonna go there. The pain was already enough. So yeah, there's, you know, if pain is coming up this week, if there are things that are tough to accept, it's like we're afraid to accept the pain because we think that it's going to make everything worse. We think that if we accept the pain, then the nightmare will be real. But the thing is, it's already real, or it seems real. It's already happened. We can't stop it, right? So allow the pain to wash through and then let it be released. All right, let's get one more card. So this deck is actually 3 oracle decks. It's like editions 1, 2, and 3 of the same one put together. So there's 2 love cards in this deck, and we got love twice in this weekly reading. So, beautiful new beginnings based in love are coming. There may be a bit of pain and sorrow on the way there, but ultimately it ends in love. It ends with a happy ending. Love yourself first. Let's get one more. Oh, passion. Okay. All right. So these 3 cards came up together. We've got passion, which I believe that we are building a life based on more passion. And in order to really get into this new start, we kind of have to kickstart our desire, our passion within our heart again for life. And it may be hard because we may be in a lot of pain right now and sorrow. And it may, it may be love related because we have separation here, but also harmony. Harmony was the last card. So there's some kind of painful separation happening right now. But ultimately, it's for our highest good. And the harmony that will come from this will help us align with what is truly resonant with us, what is truly authentically aligned with us, what is in our highest good. So, all's well that ends well. This could be temporary. This could be permanent, right? This could be things being cut away from your life so that you can have harmony and passion and love. So you don't want to prevent harmony and passion and love from coming in. So whatever it is that's separating right now, be at peace about it, because temporary or not, or permanent, this is for the highest good. It may be painful now, but I think it's going to save pain in the end. It's going to save a lot of sorrow, pain, sorrow, and suffering. And I think that what we get in the end is going to be filled with passion, with love, and with harmony. We have a beautiful new beginning with love. We've got some pain and sorrow, but it's ready to be cut out, right? So that we can go forward impassioned, harmonious, and in the vibration of love, in love with life, in that cosmic flow. Because when we're in that higher state of love, that's the highest vibration, right? The highest vibration we can have. And so then it puts us in that state of flow with the universe where we're on fire, we're manifesting, we're in the right time, in the right place all the time, right? We get these synchronicities and these kismet, like coincidences happening, and that aren't really coincidences, but like little just like winks and blessings from the universe and guidance and things just working out and doors opening. But we have to be willing to allow what needs to be cut away to be cut away. And in the end, it's like these two minds, it's like this part of your mind that's like, I have 2 minds here. It's like you can't decide. It's like on the one hand this and on the one hand that. It's like this duality, or maybe even you against an institution, or you in life, or you in another. It's like there's something about your perspective or your thoughts, something that's up in your head that's kind of separating you, that's taking you, seemingly pushing you apart. But it's like the heart here, there's one heart, there's one set of legs, there's one upper body. So it's like we are separating that part of ourself that keeps us having this conflict up in our head. And we need to get through this this conflict of our mind and get down to the heart of the situation, right? What's pulling us in two directions that we need to get unified about? And if our head is confused and it's going in two separate directions, then the key then is to tune into the heart, to see what the heart is whispering, what the heart is saying. And just remember, like, the heart, the wounded heart can be deceitful. It can lie. It can be misleading, right? A heart that is heavily influenced by all the trickle down of the ego, right? The ego up here, it's creating thoughts, it's creating all kinds of like visions and loops that you're playing over and over again. That causes feelings. If the tape keeps playing over and over again, the feelings keep persisting. It's like that becomes moods, right? And all this toxicity trickles down through your consciousness into your heart space, right? Your feelings. Closing off my heart now. I'm starting to feel curmudgeon and bitter. And then all of a sudden that trickles down into your confidence and into your instinct and into your lust for life and your desire and your passion. It creates shame, right? So we're really just like cutting through this divided head, this divided mind. And we're getting it down to the heart so that we can heal the heart, because we want to be listening to this heart, right? It's like these hearts exist at the same time, dualistically, always. And this one is just kind of up front and louder. But this one's down at the bottom. This is the bottom of your heart. This one is the closest to source. This is the closest to the Holy Spirit. This is the closest to your higher self. And so this is the tiny whisper that leads you in a very calm way towards something that makes you feel stable, sturdy, cared for, honored, respected. It's not an ego kind of respected. It's not an ego kind of like honor me, you know. It's like it's the higher self. It's the voice of someone who cares about you absolutely, with no agenda, with no hangups, with no baggage. And it's you. It's the version of you. So it's not even like you have to imagine it being like a fairy godmother or something. This is not a person in competition with you. This is not a person that has any issue. This isn't even like, oh, imagine, a motherly figure. Like, that's not always easy for everyone to imagine, to be able to trust a motherly figure, with that kind of voice within. But imagine there's like a future version of you, and it's like a heavenly version that's seen down the road, and they've seen the past, and they know all of you, and they've seen every step of the way, and they are you. So they want what you want, and they know how to get there, and they want the best for you. And they want, you to be treated well, and for you to treat others well. And, they want to be proud of how they're showing up, but they want to, make sure that you're, taken care of, and you're getting what you deserve and what you're worth, right? And so it's like this person, this version of you is there that you can connect with, and it's always whispering. But it's just that a lot of times it's really hard to follow this advice because it hurts. It requires that we do things that aren't easy. It requires us to make choices, to say no to ourselves, to separate from things that aren't good for us. So yeah, it's not always the easiest way to go, but it will ultimately lead to love, passion, harmony, and beautiful new beginnings with Japanese cherry blossoms. All right, you guys, this week praying for my homies. Y'all, let's stay in touch in the comments. Let me know what's going on with y'all out there. we'll try to get through this thing together. Hopefully, nothing too crazy happens in anybody's lives. But prayers, Godspeed. Ciao.